Oh, hello. Happy Tuesday. You guys, we love doing these lives and love answering your questions. And those questions often become workshops like we did recently for onlinepilatesclasses.com. We did a whole workshop on the roll up, which was amazing. I mean, I couldn't believe how many people had attended that. Like, we're talking hundreds of people attended that, and how many people got so many great tips and tools. I even learned something from some of our OPC teachers. So it's definitely a workshop for the doing. This is so sweet, guys. These are two of our three dogs, and when we're live, they know that this is their time to shine. So we're going to talk about the 5 spine shapes in Pilates, and as you can see from Gaia's spine, she needs it. So she's going to go right there. That's where she's going to go. Okay, wonderful. So, so this will be in a blooper reel soon, I'm sure. Here's the deal: there are 5 spine shapes, and you do need to know them in order to actually understand how Pilates is a full body workout and what you're looking for in each exercise. So when you are doing, for example, we talked about in our roll up workshop flexion, it is actually not about being short or being a C or tucking to do it. From the tailbone to the crown of your head, you want the longest round shape. So in a lot of cases, that could actually look almost like a tall back with curved ends. So if I could have my mat, my friend, um, when you're looking at the 100, we're not way up here. A lot of people end up here, and that's not exactly what we want. We want the longest round shape. And so my legs can be anywhere in space, but from the tailbone to the crown of my head, I'm as long as possible. So I'm not up here with my head. I'm not back here. You know, I've got this nice long shape. So that's your round shape. And then when I go into the roll up, I don't want to be down here. I need to be way up here, the longest round shape I can make here. So that's spine shape number 1. Spine shape number 2 is actually super hard for me. It might not be hard for you, especially it's not hard for Brad for sure. But you can do the tall back. So that's just like when we're sitting in great posture, tall. It doesn't mean flat, although you can hear that word interchangeably. You still have the curves of your spine, but you're as tall as possible. So you see that in exercises like spine stretch forward. That'll be super tall. Depending on how tight you are, you're super tall. It might look like this. And so then we have to work other spine shapes to get you into having the ability to be as nice and tall as possible. Can you go from tall to round and back to tall again? Or did you go into extension, or did you sink down? Those are really amazing things to challenge yourself with. The next spine shape is extension. And a lot of people do extension in places that are not exactly ideal. They'll do it in their neck by overextending it by just like a Pez dispenser, or they'll do extensions from their lower back. We already know the lower back can extend, so it's not exactly something we need to worry about so much. I'm not saying don't extend it, but I do want us to have more extension in the upper back. It's the same thing with the round shape. Me rounding my shoulders forward is not the longest round shape, but finding a way to lengthen through the lower back and get it to do something it doesn't do on a daily basis is actually really great for a healthy spine. So with extension, what we don't want to see is you pushing your body back towards your legs and hanging out in that lower back. What we want is for the chest to go forward so the legs don't slide around, and then I can get as long as possible. If I were to then look up, I would have lost that long extension. So getting as long as possible. And even when you're doing an exercise like rocking, which can be a really big extension, I'm not trying to touch my head to my toes. I want to pull my heart away from my tailbone to get that long extension. The next 2 spine shapes are really awesome. We tend to forget about them or kind of take them for granted. So twisting, you can see that in the spine twist. The spine twist is one of those exercises that goes from a tall back to a twist. So we're here in our tall back, and then we twist. Turning my head around like an owl is not the twist. Moving my feet when I take 1 foot forward, 1 hip back, that's also not going to be super ideal. That's not a twist. That's actually getting ready to turn. So having your arms by the side, legs hugging together, and then only moving your spine to twist and letting the rest of your body follow. That's what you want. And you see that in other exercises too. And finally, we have side bending. That you see on the mat in Mermaid and your side bend. It happens a lot in other places in the Pilates repertoire. However, side bending it's super easy to sink, just like your round shape or your extension. Sinking is something we have to really work on preventing. And so when we're trying to do a side bend, like in the mermaid, I actually want the side that I'm bending to be the thing I focus on the most, and I want that to be the longest. So as I come up and over, I'm actually trying to keep this hip reaching down and this rib lifting up, so I'm longer on this side. A lot of people focus on this side because that's where the stretch is. We got to get the underside to lift and be long. So those are your 5 spine shapes. So as you're taking a Pilates class from me or anyone else, make sure you're paying attention to all 5 of those. And ideally, you should see all 5 of those in every single workout. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. Check us at onlinepilatesclasses.com, where we do life better.